Hello and welcome back to Sea Encounters Capital Ships. This is Arnas here, and today we've got a battle between a carrier and a battleship. So this time it's my own ORP Silesia, and it's going to fight ABN Septime dottobre by Lamoch. So let's have a quick look at what we have here. So let's first talk about my own ship. So this is a carrier, which, as you can see, have a relatively large amount of anti-air guns. However, most of these guns are quite small. They are around 9 components each barrel, or even less for those smaller guns, and slightly bigger ones in the bow and stern. So quick look at the paint scheme and the secondaries. We've got some crucial safety equipment in case of something goes wrong during the battle. Some superstructure elements, balconies, smoke and fire. Right, that's pretty much it. What's different about this one is that I'm actually using the air superiority build. So instead of spawning 5 group of airplanes, strike airplanes, I only spawn 4. So that means that I can have a maximum of 12 planes in the air at the same time when it comes to striking aircraft. However, in case of any enemy planes are spotted, then I spawn additional fighters instead. So but the fighters we are not going to see today because Septime is not really using any kind of planes as far as I know, because it's a BB. All right, so let's look at this quite nice looking battleship. Maybe let me just unpause for a minute so it goes a little bit higher above the water. Okay, yeah, I think now it's better. So it's a really nice, indeed nice looking battleships. I think it's definitely one of the best in the tournament as far as my own taste is concerned, of course. So we've got really a lot of casemate guns here. So I think this is some kind of early dreadnought kind of construction where they still retain the casemate guns. So I think if it's overwhelmed by torpedo boats, it can defend itself really good. Apart from that, some good-looking anti-air guns are placed on the superstructure, and the secondaries turreted, so a bit bigger and smaller calibers. Overall, the secondary gun equipment, I would say it's quite substantial. A lot of secondary guns, but of course the primaries, I'm not sure if it's 500mm. I didn't check. Looks close to it, maybe a bit smaller. So these are carried in 4 turrets, 2 barrels each. Let's have a closer look at some special features of the superstructure, detection equipment. Okay, quite nicely looking. I think that there's some basic, or maybe not that basic, interior as well here in this ship, which is yeah, which is quite good. We've got some machinery here, boiler room, and I think this is the Citadel. Yeah, the Citadel. All right, so now we know what to aim for. We have some coal storages here. Nice touch. Although of course we don't really look at the interiors that much. But nevertheless, I wanted to show it because Lau definitely put some effort into that. Okay, so without further ado, let's resume the battle. Okay, so the battleship is slowly getting speed. It's using also classical 2 screws. Let me jump to the carrier so I can also showcase the planes. So what we have here, this is my heaviest plane. This is a Cormoran torpedo bomber. It's got a torpedo that is held partially inside of the hull. And this is a dropping torpedo from approximately 1.3 kilometers. Okay, so these are slowly moving towards the target. And my second strike plane are COS rocket planes. So these a bit smaller ones, they carry a single rocket, and they are different from well, basically they attack from relatively high altitude and a bit closer to the target. So I think it's we're talking about maybe 1 kilometer, maybe 900 meters. So they should be a bit more, they approach more bravely. And the torpedo bombers, they basically do this. So one goes one way, the other goes the other way, and they will just circle around the battleship and pepper it with torpedoes. So we should see some torpedo drop really soon, I think. All right, yeah, torpedo away. These are quite fast torpedoes. They don't have great range, but just enough to reach the target. Okay, we can also see the first rockets being dropped. It looks like it damaged a bit the main gun. That torpedo just missed. Okay, that was a pretty good hit, but looks like the secondaries are a bit lucky, so I think none of them have been actually destroyed, and looks like at least one rocket plane have been destroyed. Let's see the effects of the anti-air guns. Now we can see a lot of explosions. They don't look particularly large. I think they are relatively small ones, but nevertheless those planes are really fragile, so I think that majority of portions of the airplanes are just covered with these just metal panels, those very flat panels, or applique armor. So it's really, the planes are really light, but they are fast, so they definitely can get out of the harm's way. Okay, and here is working on the planes, and the planes are working on the battleship, and it's already down to 85%. Wow! Oh yeah, oh, I didn't see that. I'm not sure if that was a torpedo making its way, or yeah, it could have been. Looks like this section is relatively thin, so might have been so that the torpedo made its way and both turrets just exploded. simultaneously, and I think that yeah, they also took with it a boiler room. So now now the ship is dead in the water, which is not really a good thing when you're attacked by the planes, because we don't expect too many misses from the torpedoes. So the only propulsion now is pretty much the recoil of the guns. And okay, looks like the super firing front turret have also been destroyed. Okay, all right, 78% for battleships. So let's have a quick look at the carrier. So carrier, what's special about the carrier is that it's not trying to run away. It's basically brawling right into the battle. And yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be such a good idea in every battle, but sometimes the problem with the planes is that they tend to incapacitate ships relatively well, but they are not such great killers, basically. So they do not they rely on high explosives, basically. So what I wanted to do is to bring some of this secondary firepower and just help out to finish the enemy, basically. And in this case, I don't think that the risk is such high, because the battleship have just lost vast majority of its firepower, and I don't really think that it's really there's a risk of getting a citadel hit. And it looks like the accuracy is also not so great. Most likely a lot of detection equipment have been already destroyed. So it's approaching, but I can see that, yeah, actually we are getting 80% and sinking flashes, so we might not get to see the carrier actually using the secondary guns. Looks like it's approaching, but no, the clock has already started, so I think that the carrier won't have a chance to use the secondaries, I think. Yeah, it's just started to open fire, and you can see those the shells that it's using. They are a little bit different. So these are, yeah, actually it's just clearing the barrels from the remaining anti-air shells, and now it's just shooting high arcing hash rounds. So that's what it's going to use in the battles. But now, of course, the battleship itself, it's already destroyed, so it's not going to help a lot with it. So, but nevertheless, it's shooting those arcing hash 152s, and yeah, maybe it's not a super great firepower, but it can definitely speed up the destruction process of the enemy if it's necessary. Now it wasn't really, but yeah, can come in handy in more difficult battle, that's for sure. But of course, this means that the carrier is risking a lot. It is possible that the enemy is going to be in a really good shape, and the battleship can definitely penetrate the citadel, or it can also eat torpedoes from destroyers, for example, or cruisers. So that's also a possibility. And some of the torpedoes I've seen can be quite nasty. We haven't really seen a lot of ship-based torpedo action so far, but I expect that some of the designs will showcase these weapons as well. All right, let's see the damage here on the main carrier. Not a lot, really. Not a lot, just a couple of dents here and there. And as you can see, there's also a couple of smoke dispensers, I said. So when the carrier is taking some damage, it will start to use those those smoke emitters, it's mainly to help decreasing the accuracy of the guns of the enemy. So I'm not sure if that was something that caused Lauch's battleship to have such a poor accuracy at the end. Might have been, or maybe they destroyed spotting detection equipment. So I'm not sure about that. All right, but overall, just a couple of damaged secondaries, couple of dents. So nothing major really happened here. Number of planes lost, yeah, I think it was quite a significant loss. So we have like 7, I think, yeah, 7 planes totally destroyed, and a couple dented, but still in the air. All right, I think that's basically it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next episode.